Hello everyone, this is Linda Ferguson
And Karen Nelson Bell.
and welcome to another episode of Platinum Prime for Life, where Karen and I share with you our own tips and tips that experts give on how to live a Platinum Prime life well into your senior advanced years. And with that,
I just
I'm
thought
actually
something.
going
When
to
you
turn.
said that freaked me out, Linda, because I just realized I am what you just said. I am advanced. I'm a senior. Well, I'm not an octogenarian. That's a whole separate category. Being 81, I just can't. I still can't quite think with it.
Yeah, I actually think about you every day, but I'm actually going to turn this episode over to you, Karen.
I am. I'm glad. About time, Linda. About time. I'm actually going to
Take it
interview Linda
away.
today because I've always we've talked about her being a coach. I'm a coach. She's a coach, and I kind of know what she does. I mean, I think I know well enough to tell somebody, she does that. But if I really had to go into it, I really still don't really know. So we're going to find out today. What does Linda do? Does she like? Anyway, I know her well enough to know that this first question, she doesn't know. I don't have any questions written out because I don't want to. I want to let what she says give me my next question. I don't want to be an interviewer who's just sitting there with my list waiting for her to shut up so that I can ask my next question. So whatever Linda says, that's going to make the next question come up. But I know Linda well enough to know that if I just say, "Hey, Linda, give us an overview of your coaching and what the heck is it that you do and who do you do it for?"
Why, thank you, Karen. All right. And so, if it's okay with you and with y'all, I'm going to take you on a little journey, which is called The Life of Linda. Because part of what I'm doing now is based on where I came from and how I got here. So, Karen is an amazing 81-year-old, beautiful, vibrant, and to put it bluntly, her energy level puts me to shame, like times two.
Teenagers can't keep up with me, to be honest. Don't worry.
And I am about to turn 71. So she is the age that she is. I'm about to turn 71. I can tell you one thing before I get into my little story, and that is until you hit certain milestones in your life, you can't imagine what those milestones will contain for you.
So true.
You can kind of think forward, like, what will I be like at such and such an age? But until you arrive, I'm just telling you, you don't know. So, life needs to be a series of decisions that put a future there. So for me, my journey was born and raised in California to a lower socioeconomic family, meaning super blue collar. And our neighborhood in the neighborhoods of who we went to school with was where the poorer people lived. But we all kind of moved in there together because I'm a true baby boomer. And you, I think, are right on the cusp of it.
Fake baby boomer. I'm a little bit too old to be a baby boomer, but my dad was in the war, so yeah, I figure I'm a baby boomer.
So boomers
I
were born
identify
in the
as a baby
50s, 60s. Yeah. And baby boomers have just celebrated their 50th high school reunion, which is a horrifying thought. It's horrifying.
It's not.
Anyway, I was always smart in school, but I always worked against the challenges of almost everyone I went to school with had better things than me. I'll put it that way. But I was pretty cute, grew up, had lots of boyfriends. I was pretty fun, got married to my husband and thought I would never get divorced. And had my first child I was 27. Anyway, that's like a super fast forward. But along the way, I've always been in business for myself, except for my first few jobs. But once I started to be in business for myself, I was always in business for myself. And I was always thinking with that mindset, which is a very different mindset than someone working for a company. Companies have a more secure sort of a feeling because you have a bigger group making decisions for you. Being an entrepreneur means there's very little between you and no money. One wrong decision can wipe you out.
Yeah.
So now we're going to go way fast forward, but I was always in the technology side of things, and I work with my husband in web development, that kind of stuff, coming from luxury real estate in California, which was a very fun job. So websites, technology, we were right at the forefront of it, and we grew a company to the point where we were writing contracts, multi-million-dollar valued contracts, that then all went away overnight when that section of the market economy imploded. It was called the dot-com bust. And I went from being worth many millions of dollars to being worth way in debt and owing the IRS a bunch of money. Continuing, fast forward to Florida, and I stayed in that industry for quite a while. And my husband and I had a very nice parting of the ways, but we had a parting of the ways. And now I was a single, older woman in the technology field, responsible for supporting myself. And it was just a shock. So there was a point where I said, well, I want to be rich again. I actually think that's a good idea. And it's a goal I have not yet hit personally, but I am definitely working on it. But along the way, I found that especially women, but people as they got older had less and less options for creating income and wealth. Simply because you don't have as long of a runway to build things up and to make mistakes. You have to be very conscious of the decisions that you make the older you get. You can get rid of assets that you own, by poor results and so on. So I went, okay, I want to be wealthy again. But I also, and this is what drives me, I want to help those people that are my homies, those people that I grew up with, that I love, and that I also want to see do really well. And so I chose financial industries, the financial services industry, and that is a partnership that I made with a longtime friend, Bruce Whitey, who's been in this business that I'm in for 28 years now. He's also a radio personality. He's a gregarious kind of a guy, super fun. And together we formed a company, Secure Financial Services. So, wrapping it up to what do I do now? What I do now is, because I don't have the experience Bruce has, he's quite a genius when it comes to looking at assets that people have, where they are in their life's journey, how to make sure that the money that they have fits where they want to have enough money to live to. So in Karen's case, at 120 years of age, which is when she wants to end off, or more, he would sit down and figure out what's that roadmap look like and how many options can we throw in here, and are there opportunities to save taxes, make more money,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So that's what I do.
Well, my alarm went off, and so I forgot to tell my phone don't disturb us. So now I just told my phone don't disturb us. Anyway,
Technology.
yeah. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. I do love it. You know that.
I love it too.
When you said you're going to help them take the money that they have got and help them figure out how to maximize it for maximum benefit for as many years as they might have to cover their expenses for. Did I get that correct?
That's it. So there's actually this tendency that many people have, me included, to be honest, where we like looking through rose-colored glasses on, okay, I'm super healthy now. I'm very happy in my life. I have a really good work-life balance. enough family time, enough spiritual enhancement time, time to do things other than work, 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 work. I did that earlier, but I don't have to do it now. So that's like, hey, it's going to go on forever. I'm going to feel this way forever. And then reality comes crashing in that, sure, hopefully it does go on forever. But if there's no plan in place for what if it doesn't? What if something happens to me or to you that's health related, that actually impedes your ability to work and impedes your ability to move, or you need something expensive to just help you survive and get back to the way you were. What about that? Do you have a plan for that? What about if you've got stuff invested in the stock market and the stock market goes away? What about it? Do you have a plan for that? So those things are called stress testing your financial portfolio.
I gotcha. Would a person have to have a portfolio before they would come to you for coaching? I mean, do they have to be,
Well,
they have to be rich?
yeah. Let's define the word. A portfolio is no more or no less than what do you financially have. So is it a savings account? Do you own a house? Do you have Social Security coming in? Do you have a pension coming in? Do you have payments coming in? Loans, rents? It's just you on paper. What are you worth? It's pretty much your portfolio, right? And there's a value to that. If you added it all up, what are you worth?
If you're poor, are we premature in coming to you? I'm not poor, but but if I were poor, would I not be a client yet?
Well, if you're poor, if you have very limited financial
Let's
resources,
say I'm
you
Social
pretty
Security.
much,
Yeah.
yeah, you're living Social Security check to Social Security check, if that's how you're living. Then there's not a whole lot you can plan around. You can definitely plan around it, like, well, are you spending foolishly and that kind of stuff. But okay, well, I messed up a little earlier and I didn't plan for getting old, and oh shit, what am I going to do? There are some things you can do for sure, but it's not something I can help you with because a portfolio is, what exists right now, versus there are other people that say, hey, you need to make more money. I'm going to show you some opportunities or some skill sets that you can develop that will help you to do that.
Well, that's nice. That's really
Different
I'm
products.
here to tell you, you don't know. I mean, I'm 81 now, but 20 years ago, at the age of 61, my 51-year-old husband passed away, and it impacts you. You just don't know, and you do need to be prepared for it. Because I at that time, I can't believe we both. Isn't it funny that we both were multimillionaires and became minus millionaires through things that occurred in the society. Now, I'm not saying that I'm a victim of the society, because I think I should have prepared in different ways and prepared better. So I'm not making myself into, the downturn of real estate really killed me and that's my, no, it was probably me. But isn't it interesting that we're both we both had to rebuild our life.
Yes.
Now, if I'm coming to you, let's say, okay, so I'm on I'm in that rebuilding phase, and I'm doing okay, I'm doing well, and things are coming along nicely. What kind of conversation is our first conversation? What are you going to ask? Let's pretend I'm your client. What are you going to ask me on our first date? Do we have a date and we find out if we like each other, or do you just do I hire you right away, or what happened? So how do I get this going?
Sure. Well, do you mind if I share just a little story? It's something that came up quite recently.
I don't think I could stop you, Linda. I don't know how I would stop you. Of course I don't mind.
Sure. So here's a situation. A very good friend of mine is staying with me, and she came into town specifically to help the son of one of her dearest friends. Her friend passed on, and She left everything in a trust to her son. And her son was just clueless. He didn't know, what do I do next? He had a portfolio, some money, and he has some special physical needs that he needs to fulfill. So he needed to get his affairs in order. So what is that? That's called estate planning, right? And it's one of the services that we do. So that is, okay, when you're stress testing life in general, it's like, okay, what is incomplete? Okay, now I know I have all these things going on. In his case, he didn't know what the hell to do next. And she asked if I would see him, which I did.
May I ask how old was he?
He's just turning 60.
So isn't that
No, I think
interesting
he's
that we
62.
don't get this education? We don't. And he's 60 and he didn't know what to do.
Yeah. So he had access to a lot of money, but if he spent it all, that money had to last him for the rest of his life. And if he does it wrong, he's going to run out of money, right? Bunch of money, it's going to run out. So the first thing we did was we put in place a way for his money to be managed by him, to have some security on it. And also because physically he has challenges going on, in case something happened to him, there would be others that could step in that were seeing after his best interests and take care of things. And that's just creating a trust and a will. We work with an attorney group, and we work one-on-one with our clients and then one-on-one with the attorneys, which is called a concierge service, right? And then once all of that's done, it's okay, here are the other pieces of this whole plan to make your money stay protected and last you through your lifetime. That's just a great example. What effect did it have on him? He was worried, didn't know what to do, couldn't start, to, oh, now he has forward progress on, okay, I'm going to keep living my life, and here are my next plans I need to take care of, which were things outside of what we were working on him with. So that's actually just a great example of what do? We look at, where are you? Let's talk. What do you already have in place? Where do you want to go? What challenges do you already know you have in getting there? And what assets or skills or things are you utilizing this way that we could sort of massage them, or, find some tax savings or do whatever, so that you can clearly see what your next steps can be, and you can agree that those are doable steps for you.
Oh, that's
Knowing that
yeah.
if you run into a challenge that was unforeseen, you can come back and talk to me or talk to Bruce again.
That makes sense. What's the difference between you and, say, an asset manager or a financial planner?
The difference is not, it's me, to tell you the truth. So one of my skills, I am a certified life coach and a certified financial planning coach, meaning I don't do the financial plans, but I get someone to really improve their relationship with what it takes for them to survive and money. It's really just kind of more of a deep dive into, how you should be spending your money. You're not spending your money that way. You beat yourself up because you don't stick to your own budget. Let's just take a look at it. So what happens when you have someone that you can trust and you know that they're always at your back, they're looking out for you, and the advice that they give you has a very positive effect on your life, that's a good relationship to have. So that's what we strive to do. If we see me, Bruce, and I defer to Bruce on all things that go above my, I'm not going to say pay grade because that's not it, but just my skill set so far, because he's super good at digging into very complicated financial situations where I'm just sort of milk and cheese, okay. um, but we bring in, as we work with some of the top tax strategists, estate planners that do like very fancy things, if that's what's needed. So, what do you need? What can we help you with? Do we need anyone else to help with your achievement of that? And then we take really good care of you.
Well, I'm going to give
Me
you an
especially.
opinion. I'll give you an opinion, and you tell me if my opinion is right or because it could be right or it could be wrong. And my opinion is that I would trust you more than I would trust a stockbroker because you are not going to get a financial advantage on the back end from selling me a certain stock or a certain insurance or a certain something that you make money on the backside. And I think that, or do you? Maybe you do. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but I thought that would make coming to you a more trusting situation. Am I wrong?
Well, I gotta say, we don't work for free, but at the same time, we don't push something that wouldn't be good for you. In other words, the main driver for both Bruce and I is, does what we're suggesting fulfill what your goals are? And quite honestly, the person that helped me get into this business had situations in his life where he was accused of, it's called elder abuse actually, in finances, where, you know, he was accused of this. I don't know whether he did it or not, but he was accused more than once. So I'm thinking maybe there was a little bit of that there, where he had someone invest or buy into something simply because he wanted to create commissions. And it's very, very common for that to happen in the financial industries. And I can just say that definitely, while we definitely want to make money for the effort that we're doing to help you, we're not doing it at your expense. You are definitely benefiting. And when you walk away, you will have benefited and we will have gotten an exchange for the work that we provide. So
I got you.
win-win all the way around.
I got you. What would be your favorite testimonial? And this could be a real testimonial, or it could be one that you just described to me. What, in other words, what would you like to have accomplished in that person's life? What would they say when they write to your website and say, "She's the bomb. I love her so much, and here's why."
So my favorite personal testimonial, actually, it's one for Bruce, but it's a very good one. And I just have to say something. I'm going to say this in the financial sense. Very often, financial decisions aren't realized until a stretch of time has happened, right? And the second thing is, for those of you that have things that are impacted by the stock market, which all of us do, by the way, either directly or indirectly, the stock market definitely impinges on us. But stocks will go up and down based on news. So you say, oh, the stock market's rising, rising, rising. Wow, people are making a lot of money. I'm making a lot of money. And then it crashes out. This is horrible. I just lost 40% of what I invested. What I started out with, 40% was just wiped out overnight. Oh, I'm ruined. The long run in finances is, you've given me peace of mind. The stock market just crashed and I didn't lose any money at all. My retirement is still secure. Bruce has had many of those testimonials. And it's always great because the person still has their future. It's still in sight. Yeah, they could have made a whole lot in the stock market when it was up, but they set aside a certain amount of what they had to live on for the rest of their lives. And they said, okay, well, you know what? If all else goes to hell, I'm going to get this income, and my life is set up so it will handle all of my bills forever. And there are certain products that will do that, where the money will never run out ever if you invest in it. So those kind of success stories, or the, oh my God, I just felt really great this morning when I saw the stock market lost 15% of its value, and I knew I was protected, versus my brother who won't even watch TV until the whole thing blows over because he's losing so much money right now.
That's a beautiful answer. I love that answer. I think it's time, Linda. We've coached each other on various things. We're both, you've been my life coach in certain ways at certain times, but it's time I get in there. I think I'm getting ready, yeah, I think I'm ready. I think we better do this. But what can you, I've kind of run out of what I want to know, but maybe there are some questions. What question should I have asked you? I didn't ask you. What should I have asked you that I didn't?
Well, there are two things that are coming up. So we live in times right now where day by day the news can be alarming or it can be exciting depending on your view of things. But that uncertainty creates a huge amount of angst and stress in people. And Bruce wrote a really great pamphlet or booklet called Black Swan Events. So, a black swan event is an event that is not predicted, that can change the course of everything, especially financially. So, you think COVID is like our most recent, really, really great example of that. Who could have predicted it or the impact that it would have worldwide? And we're just working on a webinar on black swan events and how to stress test what you have against having something like that come up in your life. That's exciting, huh?
Wow.
Because the thing about something that's horrible and unknown is if you feel you can do anything about it, you are much less the effect of that thing. So stress testing is an example of spotting what could come up. If it came up, what would you do about it? And then put those things in place where you go, okay, now I can do something about it, and your attention goes off of it to that degree.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Linda, we've come to the end of our affair for the afternoon, and I don't know what we're going to call this, but I want to name it something really cute and clever to make sure people tune into this, because I think it's really, really important. Because I talk about health all the time, health and wellness, but having health and wellness is not probably as easily achieved if you are penniless. I don't see how you could afford the better food. I don't see how you could even a copay to go to the doctor. There's all sorts of things where you have. I think you have to have wealth and health. And we've talked about this before, but I'm just so grateful because I feel like you've got the goods. I feel like you're very why I think you're a smart cookie and a wise.
I'm definitely sincere about my passion on helping others.
Yeah, I can see.
That's for sure. So, if you have any questions about what we've talked about today, you can always reach out to me, and my contact information, you can direct message me or you can message the contact information that you see here. Other than that, we are wrapping it up.
Wow.
So,
What a wonderful
that-
day. Thank you, Linda. I really appreciate it. I learned so much about my friend. This was great.
Absolutely.
Thanks for doing this.
All right, everyone, have a great week. We will see you again next week. Bye.